How's it going, guys? Welcome to my least favourite Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 8 video. I just wanted to make this video just because I was looking through all the generations of Pokemon the other night and I thought, hey, everybody's quick to mention their favourite Pokemon, why not mention my least favourite Pokemon? Quick disclaimer on this video, this is purely based on my past experience and my opinion of the design. I haven't actually done any kind of research into the lore into why these Pokemon look like this. And a lot of them that I have, I just don't like the design, so I'll try and keep the competitive usefulness in kind of to the side, although I may occasionally mention it. And yeah, please don't try and get too offended if your Pokemon is on this list. So how it's going to work is I'm going to work through every generation, from 1 right through up until 8. There isn't a consistent amount of Pokemon in each generation, just because there were others that I struggled to find some in, and there was others I had loads in, so I've just tried to snip the bigger list down and essentially get any ones I can from the generations that I was struggling to find any in. So if you do want to see more content like this in the future, I do want to remake my top 10 favourite Pokemon video, as I did take that one down recently and I'm hoping to redo it again. So if you drop me a like down below, you will see that video soon regardless, but yeah, it'd really help me out. So without further ado, let's get started. So from generation 1, I am going to kind of go with Drowsy and Hypno, just because, well, just look at him. I mean, obviously we've got Hypno here, like very, very, very creepy guy. And to be completely honest with you, I kind of struggled to get one from Gen 1 really, just because, in my opinion, they're all pretty well put together in this gen really. Just a very creepy guy. I mean, it feasts on people's dreams when it's hungry. Obviously in Fire Red, it lures a kid into a forest, so it don't get much weirder than that, I suppose. And just looking at Drowsy, I just generally don't like the designs of him. Like, I don't understand what this brown thing is. I mean, obviously, to me, it just looks like some bootleg pants. But again, there might be a reason for it, but I just don't like them. I think they're both extremely creepy. And yeah, to be completely honest, out of Gen 1, they're the only two that really came to mind. So for Generation 2, this one might be a bit of a controversial one for most people, but I'm going to go with Dunsparce. Now, obviously I know that a lot of people disagree with this, and I have spelled its name incorrectly, so that's a good start. I know a lot of people disagree with this one, but I just think for a one-stager, there isn't really too much about him. I don't really understand what he is, and yeah, it just looks weird, man. Like, if they give him another evolution, then fair enough, but this is essentially it, really. And yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to factor stats into this one. I just think it's a very strange looking Pokemon. It looks like it needs to evolve again, basically. That's my reason for putting Dunsparce on this list mainly. But yeah, that's the reason why Dunsparce is on this list. I got another one from Gen 2, so this time Stantler. Now, very, very minor reason why this guy's on the list, and it just looks like a pissed off Rudolph, to be honest. Like, there's not really a great deal about him. I mean, I don't know what this thing is on, his tail. Oh, you can't see my cursor, but yeah, I'm pointing at his tail. Looks like he's got a frisbee lodged in his ass, and to be quite honest, I'm not really about it. So yeah, Stantler's on the list. He's got a horrible shiny as well. I'm not sure if I'm able to find that one on here, but yeah, it should be at the bottom there. Yeah, look at that. That is disgusting, man. That is absolutely awful. And just to go on personal experience as well, particularly in Heart Gold, when I was trying to grind EXP with this guy, I kept outspeeding my Pokemon and stomp flinching, and I would just try to do a quick grind, especially within the Nuzlocke, and it was just proving to be really difficult. So those are the reasons why I would put Stantler on this list. Okay, so moving on to Gen 3. Again, I don't think a great deal of people feel very strongly for this Pokemon, but yeah, I'm going to put Skitty on the list just because they tried to make a Pokemon cute. I just think it looks a bit creepy, man. It looks like some weird doll that someone's made, and yeah, I don't understand it. It's just bad. Its evolution's bad as well, and there's just nothing special about it. Like, you know, it's not like a Pokemon that I've necessarily thought about through any playthrough of the game. And you know, I've been playing these games a lot of years, and you know, it's just a Pokemon I often forget about until I see like a trainer in game using one. And yeah, I just think it's a failed attempt at making a cute Pokemon. There's already plenty of them that exist. There's a lot better cat Pokemon that exist particularly as well. And yeah, this Pokemon just looks like trash, I ain't gonna lie. So I've got another one from Gen 3. This one's it's probably one I feel quite strongly about this. It's I mean, obviously if you want to factor both of these in you can, but like it's Glalie, Mega Glalie, whatever way you want to look at it, like, you know, I just think it looks bad. Like what is it meant to be? Like it's it's literally a face Pokemon. Now, if anybody wants to tell me that, you know, if anybody wants to defend the design on this one, then be my guest. Like, you know, I am open to hear what other people like about this Pokemon, but I can't even keep a straight face, no pun intended. When looking at both designs of this Pokemon, to be honest, I just think it looks like crap. Like, it's just, you know, it's mega kind of did it favours competitively, but I'm not really here to talk about that. I just don't like its design. It's dislocated its jaw when it Mega Evolves for some bizarre reason, and yeah, why on earth would you evolve your Snorunt into this when Froslass exists? That is the question. Like, you know, Froslass is by far superior, and it's just subpar as well. Again, I don't want to factor competitiveness into this a little any more than I need to, but you know, it's just not good, man. There's just nothing about Glalie, as a lot of the entries on this list kind of share as well. But yeah, don't like Glalie, never liked Glalie, and to be honest, it's always one to really forget about until you go up against the Elite Four in Ruby and Sapphire, and didn't give me much trouble then either, even as it's Mega in the remakes. It's just underwhelming, very underwhelming Pokemon. So moving on to Gen 4, this is one, you know, a lot of these I kind of picked up along the way when I was doing my research for the video. And one of Wormadam's forms pretty much speaks for itself, and that is the trash cloak. And I just think they all look like trash. I mean, you know, just look at them, man. Like, what is that? Like, that typing is absolutely appalling. And even for the ones that, you know, again, like, why? Like, why did they do that? We did not need one form of this Pokemon, never mind 3. My personal opinion on this Pokemon, it's just not special. Like, this, again, try not to factor stats into it, but that, you know, its design alone is enough to put it on this list, and it's just one I've never considered using on a playthrough. And I do try and, you know, kind of learn about different Pokemon on different playthroughs, and this Pokemon, it's safe to say, has never piqued my interest, and it's just, you know, it's trash. So the next one on Gen 4 is, and it's a shame really, because I noticed quite a lot of them on Gen 4, and it's actually my favourite gen, because a couple of my favourite Pokemon actually come from, if I could spell it, there we go, right, a couple of, you know, my favourite Pokemon of all time kind of come from this generation as well, probably about 3 or 4 actually. This Pokemon, I just don't understand why. For one, it goes from, like, you know, an elegant looking Glameow to a big fat cat that just goes through puberty, essentially eats too much, and just gets really pissed off in the process. I mean, the other thing that really gets me about this, and it's probably the biggest reason, is the fact that you use it, you know, Team Galactic admin, you'll all know which one I'm talking about, the Valley Windworks. They use one, it's absolutely awesome, you're like, wicked. You know, I'm going to try and train one of these up for myself. And then you use it yourself, and it's just terrible. Like, for some really weird reason as well, it's fast. I mean, that kind of gets me with Slaking as well. Fair enough with its ability, it needs to overcompensate. But for this Pokemon, there's just no reason. Like, it's just a really grumpy cat. It's just visually unappealing. Its name pretty much says it all. It's an ugly Pokemon, and it gives, I imagine, a lot of people trouble through the playthroughs as well. I was one of the suckers that fell for, oh, it's good on their team, maybe I might try it, and it sucks. There's just nothing about it. Another failed cat Pokemon just like Skay, and yeah, I'm not about that life. Another one, I mean, I've got, like I said, got quite a few from this generation to add on. This list is very diluted in comparison to when I originally went through the list. I didn't realise I had this many Pokemon that I didn't like. But this one in particular, it's probably one of the biggest ones from Gen 4 for me, just simply because it's just extremely forgettable. Like, for the longest time, like, I'm very on it with, you know, knowing what Pokemon are good at, what they're bad at, and the typings, and I didn't realise that this Pokemon wasn't a water flying type until I actually looked into it, probably about a year ago, to be completely honest with you. That's how little attention I actually pay to this guy. Like, I ever see it being used. It's Pokemon you rarely see even in the original games as well. Like, I believe that you have to use a super rod to get it, and the odds are low. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, this is just a complete guess, and you're not rewarded with a very good Pokemon either when you actually do go to the effort to actually raise it up. Its design is absolutely awful. It's Neon Pokemon. I mean, I don't know what that means, but yeah, there's just nothing about this guy that really, well, essentially, Mantine can't do, you know? Like, it's essentially under the same pool of Pokemon bar its typing, which I didn't know until a year ago. And yeah, it's just the most forgettable Pokemon in existence. Really quick one. I'm sure you all agree with me on this one, but give me a second. Why does this Pokemon exist? Like, why does it exist? And I know that this is a popular opinion. You know, with the others, I've maybe been a little bit on the fence with, you know, do people share this kind of same opinion with me? Or, you know, it's not really that I'm not bothered, but with Phione, it just doesn't need to exist. You breed a Manaphy for it, and you know, why would you do it? Like, it doesn't evolve. You're just stuck with this baby Pokemon, and I don't know what Game Freak were thinking when they invented it, to be completely honest, because why have a Phione when you can have a Manaphy? And it's got the same base stats as Glalie, and I was just bashing on that as well, and it's just nothing special about it. Correct me if I'm wrong, there might be some uses out there. I don't even think Eviolite works on it as well, so there's just absolutely no reason to have one on your team, really, or for it to even exist, full stop. So, right, we're moving on to Gen 5, which I know, you know, there's a lot of questionable designs in this gen. I just want to point out that I've tried to filter out the most obvious ones, as you'll see by the list, but I had to pick a lot that I didn't want to include in this just to not make the video too long for you. But yeah, this guy is the first one to come up on the list, as you know, you wear a lot of stick about the elemental monkeys years through playing Pokemon or watching other people play Pokemon, and I don't particularly mind the other two. Like, you know, at least they've kind of got something about them. To me, Simisear kind of literally looks like Infernape's cousin who chose a life of drinking pizza instead of training, so I don't know what this fat belly's all about. I don't know what he's doing with his hands. Like, what's up with his face and his hair? Like, there's just nothing that stands out about this Pokemon that would motivate me to use it from anything other than a black and white playthrough, and the only reason that I'd do that is just to replace, until I got a Darumaka, to get a Darmanitan. That is just simply it. It's good that you get it gifted earlier on, and, you know, it is a different type to your starter, obviously, so but once you get a Darumaka, that's it. You know, this guy has absolutely no use. There's probably other Pokemon that you can get earlier on as well that could replace this, you know, like a Litwick, or I don't know, but I just don't like its design. And, you know, it's not that all three monkeys in theory are quite bad, but this one is the worst. I mean, Simisage, sorry. You know, it's kind of got like a Johnny Bravo look going on. Simipod, you know, some kind of Rasta monkey, I'm not sure, but this guy is just stuck being, he's got, it just don't look all there, to be completely honest with you, like, and I don't know what Game Freak were thinking with this design. They could have done so much cooler things with it, and if its hair's meant to be fire, it's failed, because it just looks like it's been on a mad night out or something. Like, it's just not very good for me, and I really don't like its design. So the next Pokemon that I would put on this list, and it's one that I've seen arising very recently, actually, because of the limited Pokemon that are available in Sword and Shield. Let's see if I can spell it. There we go. Sorry about that. So this is a Pokemon that is, to me, it's a bootleg Swampert. I just think it looks like crap again, you know. It's got a lot of warts on its face. Just bring Swampert back so this Pokemon can be forgotten once more. That's all I'm going to say about it. There's not really much else to say, really, other than, yeah, it's just an ugly-ass Pokemon that, essentially, you know, it's a bad Swampert. That's all I'm going to say. So, the next Pokemon actually brings me quite nicely onto a few Pokemon I've missed off this list, that being Cryogonal. Now, I've veered clear of the obvious unpopular choices such as the Gear Pokemon, the Ice Cream Pokemon, but I can't actually ignore the fact that there's an evil Snowflake Pokemon that exists. It falls under the same kind of category as the other two that I've chose to leave off this list, just because they're too obvious, really. Its design's terrible, like, you know, it's just an evil snowflake. Is that what it's meant to be? Like, you know, crystallizing Pokemon? Like, let's have a look at its dex entry. It's like, when its body temperature goes up, it turns into steam and vanishes. It returns to ice. Honestly, like, you know, this gen brought us an ice cream Pokemon that I'm sure is widely loved by a great amount of people. I hope you picked up on my sarcasm there. But this guy's just got not going for it, and literally, you could just touch this Pokemon, it'd shatter to a million pieces. Look at that absolutely god-awful defense. Like, it's got a good special defense, but you know, Mach Punch, this guy is gone. And again, I try not to factor compatibility into it, competitively, into this. And yeah, no, this Pokemon's just got a lot on its own going for it. Its design, its dex entry pretty much says it all. Gen 5 wasn't a good gen for Pokemon of this nature, to be completely honest with you, and this is a prime example of that. So we're finally moving on to Gen 6. Again, a lot of Pokemon got axed from that Gen 5 list, so... oh, finally managed to spell that one right, thank God. This is the Gen 6 Pokemon. First and foremost, I just think it looks ugly. As I do most of the entries on this list, its design is just awful. I've never considered using one of these on this team. While Slurp, you know, Gen 6 was a really groundbreaking generation because the Fairy type was actually introduced in this gen, and already this Pokemon was off to a bad start because it was, you know, you got Slurpuff, you got Sylveon, and Azumarill became a big thing as well because obviously it got its Fairy type in. And whilst them three exist, and obviously Mega Gardevoir, they're essentially the staple of the game, got added, there was just no place for this Pokemon, and it kind of backs up my case. Like, you know, I'm not trying to convince anybody that my favourites are my favourites for any particular reason other than I don't like the look of them, but when you're fighting bad odds like that, and you know, you look at its terrible design, this Pokemon was never going to be a favourite. Not sure if people like it or not. I'd be very interested to know if people do actually like this. And it's semi-usable, but its speed is absolutely awful. And its abilities are just terrible. It's just a terrible Pokemon. I don't even know what it's even meant to be. Like, the fragrance Pokemon, like, what? Really? Does it smell bad? Does it smell good? Pleasant and unpleasant scents, and emits scents that its enemies dislike. What? I think I've said enough about this Pokemon, to be honest. The next one is one of them big obvious ones that I'm sure a lot of people have included in lists in the past. Klefki, I'm sorry, but it's another fairy type that, you know, it saw a lot of usage because of its ability Prankster. If you're not sure what that ability does, it gives priority to all status moves. And this guy was a massive annoyance when that came out. But the reason that it is actually on this list is just because... look at these dex entries, man. The key collector's threatened by attackers and fiercely jingling keys at them. It never lets go of a key that it likes, so people give the keys to Vault of Safe to prevent crime. Like, what? It's a bunch of keys. Like, falls under the same category as Cryogonal, as I included on that list. You know, a couple of others that I didn't, and it's just a straight up inanimate object. Like, it's, I'm sorry. Design wise, ID wise, not for me. So the next one, we're going to move on to Gen 7 quite quickly there actually, just because I'm aware that I did quite a lot of Pokemon into this. Now Gen 7, I actually kind of struggled with because I do actually like a lot of the designs, but this guy, all I can say is they should have brought in Galar Darmanitan a little bit sooner, a generation sooner to be exact. Should have made it a Lowland Darmanitan and just completely scrapped this guy. I don't get what the deal is with his big hands. I know he's trying to be an abominable snowman, but he's just... he's just... I just don't like him. I don't like his hair. I don't like his humongous hands. It kind of... I don't know. I mean, Neen's legs and everything, like, it just looks out of proportion. It's... it makes me angry how you evolve it as well. I mean, you've got to travel to Mount Lanakila, I believe, and it's got to evolve there, and I'm pretty sure that that's an accessible area right late in the game, so you've got to keep the Crabrawler around for that long, which I'm never a fan of. Strictly through playthroughs, I don't know anybody who would really use this on anything other than a Trick Room team, and even then there are better options out there, but I'm purely going on its design, and the way you evolve it is just extremely frustrating as well. The other option on Gen 7, okay, is this guy, and you know, this guy's been getting bashed from the start. He's just straight up ugly, man. I'm sorry, but Gnash Teeth Pokemon, like, it's cool that it got to introduce Psychic Fangs and, you know, to kind of eat through light screen and stuff like that. And it obviously has the ability Dazzling, which it makes Pokemon immune to like Fake Out and like Mach Punch. But it's just not that good. I just don't like it because of its design. I keep digressing onto like compatibility, competitiveness, and all that kind of stuff. But when it boils down to it, this is just a straight up ugly fish. Like, there are so many fish that are just so much better than it. And now that Psychic Fangs is, you know, teachable on really most Pokemon in the most recent generations, this guy's just not got a place, to be honest. Keep this guy cut, and everybody will be happy. Generation 8 is also another one. Because I played it quite recently, I haven't really built a tolerance or intolerance to many Pokemon on that game. But if there had to be one, and it's for a really ridiculous reason actually, it would be Carkol. This Pokemon, like, I'm pretty sure when you see it from the back, it's got butt cheeks. Like, let's just have a quick look. Carkol, back, sprite. Should really come prepared for this, to be honest. I'm pretty sure that it's got butt cheeks. That's what really bothers me about this Pokemon, to be honest. I don't think it's really giving me much, to be honest. But you'll get what I mean. Just play Sword and Shield, and yeah, you'll realise that this Pokemon actually has butt cheeks for like no reason, pretty much. And while that shouldn't bother me, it really does. It's weird. I mean, I like the design. It's cool. It's got a really bad defensive type matchup as well, as Macargo know all too well. Rock and Fire. There's a couple of 400%ers against it, and whilst it's got the Steam Engine ability, I just don't think you have time to utilise that, to be honest, especially when you've got fast water Pokemon hitting you with really hard moves such as Inteleon that exists, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, unless you put a Focus Sash on this guy, it's always a safe water switching for most people that go against it, and I just don't like its design personally. Like, I can appreciate it because obviously, you know, it's to represent like mining and things like that, but I don't like it. I don't really like its evolution. I just don't like how they look. I just think they look very blocky, and yeah, they're just not to my taste, to be completely honest with you. The last Pokemon on this list, let me just get back to it. Oh crap, I need to learn to... There we go, right, so the last Pokemon on this list is Hatterene. Now again, I will stress that the Pokemon specifically on the Gen 8 list, I just had to pick these because I needed options for this generation, to be honest. It's not that I have a massive dislike for, like, as you'll notice with the other gens, I've got very strong opinions about them, but this Pokemon, you know, it's a hat Pokemon. You know, it's like a big demonic hat monster, and it's got the Gigantamax form as well, which furthers that with the humongous tentacles coming out of the back. And yeah, I generally just don't think much of it. I just think design wise, I just don't like how it looks, and and yeah, it's just, I don't get it. I haven't really looked into like the lore behind it or anything like that, I will admit, but you know, and I imagine on a Trick Room team this would be a really good Pokemon to have, because competitively, you know, it seems to be really good, especially the Gigantamax one as well. But I just don't like its design straight up. It's got like a hand on its hat or something. I mean, I'm not too sure. If you want to clue me in down below, you're more than welcome to do so. But you know, I'm just not rating the design of this Pokemon, just full stop. So if you guys did enjoy that video, please again drop me a like down below, or give me any kind of feedback on the Pokemon that are on this list, whether you like them, dislike them. I'm sorry if you got offended, but if your favourite Pokemon was on that list, but I stick by all my opinions on that. But yeah, any kind of feedback on the Pokemon down below would be awesome, within limits obviously. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace.